No!
Don't make me turn the string around, young man.
That was Baron. He went in the fighter jet. He's like, "Hello, boys, I'm back."
Be kind of more like, "Hello, ladies, I'm back."
Dr. Evil just wants a hug.
Come on, give me a hug. Give me a hug.
The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. You hear that, Baron? The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
Shit.
It's not all about you, Cash.
Yeah, it's my opinion. My opinion's the one that matter.
Does it though?
Yeah, it does. I'm always right. I'm always right.
It's true. Look it up.
Whoa, that's loud. Ow! Ow!
Well, you know, Cash stays up late at night. I gotta keep him awake.
Yeah, that's... he's got a waffle feet because he's always on the keyboard again. Mr. Ratchet and Clank.
That's right.
I want it!
Had to finish it.
Good evening and welcome, one and all, to this edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk, coming to you live on both the Rumble and YouTube channel, along with Cashmoney007, Baron Orman Tagge. I am your host, Mike, and the three articles we are going to be talking about during the 2 hours that we're on both platforms will be Vince McMahon and the accusations that were raised against him this past Thursday, and also Daisy Ridley talks about advice that she was given when she was casted as Rey in The Force Awakens by J.J. Abrams. And we'll also be talking about 30 years of Babylon 5 with an article from Inverse. And of course, I just want to make it known that it is not always about the non. Okay? Okay, Chinkara.
Centauri.
I am not the filthy one. You are non. You are lesser people.
Uh-huh.
That is why we invaded. That is why we invaded your homeland.
Yeah, how did that go?
Non-homeland.
How did that go for you?
It is the hour of scampering.
Now we have a Vorlon. Great. And all I want is prominent office on Centauri Prime. That's all I want.
If you go to Pop Talk, you will die.
Wow, got dark.
Wow, Baron. I didn't think Pop Talk was that bad. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest show on YouTube, but hey,
jump.
No. Although who knows what sort of shenanigans we might be in this time on Beverly Hills 414. So what of me? Yeah, shenanigans.
Shenanigans. I call shenanigans.
So before we actually get into Beverly Hills 414, I do want to say hello to everybody who is here so far. So far, we have our writer extraordinaire, T-Gap Steve.
Big Daddy. T-Cap Steve. Come on.
T-Cap, yeah.
Ooh. That's right, Big Daddy. No, it's Big Daddy T-Gap. Get it right, Cash. Just because you have some sort of feud against him doesn't mean you can just mock his name.
Cap.
Yeah, Mr. Crypto Coin.
Yeah, Crypto Coin.
Cap.
We also have Trippy Orc with us.
Oh.
And of course, yes, Phil McCracken, who says this is the Blue Blood Show.
Phil.
Where people have their own lawmen.
Boo.
And use great
worst troll ever
Now hold on, Phil. When it comes to having their own lawn man, I am the lawn man. I am the
Phil?
one that goes out into the lawn and works in the yard and does all the trimming
When
of
you-
the hedges and cutting of the grass and all the other stuff.
When you try to insult people or play your shenanigans, at least get the words right. ID is not right. It's IS. Thank you.
Oh boy.
This is Patrick Stewart, and I wish to tell Phil McCracken that I hate him also.
And good evening to Janet from another planet. Good to see you, Janet.
Hi, Janet.
Hello, Janet.
We're still working on getting rid of Cash so you can take over.
No, we're working on getting rid of that Baron.
No, the truth is, everybody, they're trying to get rid of me, and I just won't go away.
Shh, quiet. Oh, are you trying to say?
He's trying to haunt us. Yes.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Mike?
Yo ho, yo ho.
There we go. I was just about to say, you guys are looking for any opportunity that's presented to you to raise that pirate flag.
We are pirates, so.
Arr, Vasti Mighties.
No, you don't say. You don't say.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
We're gonna.
I want to say hello to everybody's favorite penguin besides Punkwaddle.
Two
Yay!
penguins, one penguin
laptop.
leaves.
And
Two
let's
penguins
see.
enter. One penguin leaves.
And of course, hey,
Hey.
hey,
Where are you?
Hey.
Where are you?
He's probably eating dinner. I told him just like last week. Finish your dinner first, and then come on.
So, are we gonna wait till he comes on and tell him that we're changing the name of this program to the Star Wars guys?
Okay, Baron. Next time, you need to pass that memo to me during our meetings. But even with this with this memo not being passed to me, I'm overriding it. I'm overruling it.
What? Come on, man. Come on, man.
Guys. The name is free, so we're gonna take it over for a day.
I don't have Discord on during the show. You're making me turn on Discord, Paul. I usually don't have it on during the show. Jeez, making me turn on Discord.
Well, what's this?
Hey, these dang kids and their MTV and their
the Discord, the Discords, I tell you.
Oh man.
He says the link isn't working. All right, fine.
What?
The link isn't working.
My plan worked.
This is an outrage. This is unfair.
Left my dogs. Left. Bring my puppies. Yes. You're right.
But
hi,
and please, everybody, welcome Paul from Fandomology. He's our special guest host for this Wednesday edition of Pop Talk.
And as always, just happy to be here.
It must be cold.
Glad you're here, Paul.
Whoa, he's opening up a cold one. Woo!
He is, man.
It's a cold Coca-Cola.
Oh, come on. You let me down, man. But now that you're here.
Master Paul can fluff my pillows Navy style any day.
There you go. There you go.
Of course, with the pillows.
But before we get into today's topics of discussion, both on YouTube and Rumble, we've got our latest episode of Beverly Hills 414.
Good.
Rumble.
There you go, Paul. Your cam is good now. Okay.
Yeah.
This cam was bad.
Bad
Cam.
blurry.
Bad cam. Oh, maybe that was you. No.
Previously on Beverly Hills 414. So I have the coma. Now what? Mike thought as he ran through the halls of the Historical Society, nearly running into a froyo stand and readjusting his boobs to keep them in line. What?
He must be talking about me.
I don't even want to know where this is going.
They're called moobs, by the way. Man boobs. Moobs.
He
Yeah,
needs a bro. Is that what you're trying to say? He needs a bro.
I need a bro. I'm a B cup, by the way. Just want to let you know. So if you're
Of
looking
all-
to get Christmas gifts, you can get me a bro B cup size. It'll be fine.
Of all the days not to wear a sports bra. Okay. Steve, I don't know what kind of images you have about me, but
Oh, this is Mike?
what the heck, man?
I thought this was me. Okay.
No.
Oh.
Wait, did he always have this fine pair of C cups? Oh no. What? Oh, come on, Steve. What the heck, man? I thought the cone was a cone of power. What the heck, man?
Wow.
Wow.
That was me. I mean, I'm not a C cup yet. I'm still B.
He must have. That's why
Oh, they're-
he
kinda
stuck the
nice.
cone down his top to make it harder to drop. What? What?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Hearing the roar of a Hemi engine around the corner, he spotted Mexican Iron Man and Crypto roaring down the side of the Arboretum hallway.
And that thing got a Hemi?
At the same time, he jumped out to try to catch a ride. The two guards he was running from leapt out to tackle him. There was nothing for it. He pulled out the comb and threw it.
Oh.
Catch! He tried to yell over the roar of the engine for Mike, Mexican Iron Man, or Crypto to hear as he threw the comb like a Hail Mary curveball during that ninth inning. Oh God! Hail Mary curveball. You mean to say I'm on the mound and I just threw the ball away, and there goes the winning run scoring on home plate for the opposing team.
He tossed it up in the air, and then it curved. What?
I don't know.
People.
Hitting the ground hurt a lot more without the extra padding on his chest to absorb the blow. But there were worse things than being tackled by two nearly naked women.
There's worse things than that?
I guess. I mean, this is
Well, it could be Gorlock.
this is T-Gap's story, so we'll see where he's going
Okay.
with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just.
Baron felt himself being jostled as his bonds were being undone. At the level he was at, he was greeted by the sight of 4 pair of D cups. The fact
Whoa,
that they
yeah!
were covered surprisingly was a good thing.
So death by snoo soon, right? Is that...
Please.
That's what
I'm ready.
that's what it sounds like.
I'm ready,
Folks,
Lord. Take me. Take me.
Folks, I don't know where T-Cap's going with the story. I find out the same time you guys do.
Yep.
Ingrid, Astrid, he asked tentatively as he felt the ropes give away. Given what happened earlier, his hesitation was understandable. Yeah, you silly grew man.
That sounded more Jamaican.
Yeah, man.
Whatever.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Wonderful. Rescue was at hand, assuming they were able to get his legs free, which seemed to be a bit of a problem right yet. I can't reach the ropes, one of them said. As enticing as having both women jumping to try to get at his tied legs might have been, they probably didn't have time for it. I'm going to climb him and get to the ropes. Hold him steady. You know, even say that out loud, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
After several long, semi-awkward minutes being used like a jingle gym and monkey bars by a pair of blondes, I don't think Baron would have a problem with that, but hey.
What awkward moment.
Baron was right side up and grabbing the papers he got from the librarian.
Oh.
Wouldn't be the papers I'd be grabbing.
I don't know, Baron. I don't know. I don't know if they're those kind of papers or paper.
Ooh. Okay. I see what you did there.
Where was it? It has to be. He finally found what he was looking for and grinned, ignoring the other men still hanging from the ropes. We need to get out of here, Baron, said Astrid. No, we need to stay here and fix this from happening again. Go grab that paint and some brushes, and let's hope Crypto and Mike can give us the time we need. Why is it up to us? Why is it up to us? Why can't Mexican Iron Man do it while he's driving the truck with the Hemi? Or is Baron referring to Mike, Mexican Iron Man? Which Mike are you referring to?
I don't know. Any Mike.
He's referring to Mexican Iron Man, I think.
After the impromptu,
I want competency.
After the impromptu dance number, which for whatever reason Crypto still didn't understand why they had to do, the horde of enraged women had closed the distance. Oh no.
Oh, a horde of angry women going after Cash. No, that's like every day with him.
Well, you know what? You know what you need to do, Cash? If they're coming at you, jump out the window. They had the truck which could outrun them, but only if it could get up to speed. I had hoped I wouldn't have to use this, Mexican Iron Man said, as he pulled something out and tossed it.
Uh-oh.
What is it? Grenade? Smoke bomb? Stink bomb? Crypto asked, to which Mike, Mexican Iron Man, shook his head. Limited edition Louis Vuitton monogram handbag. Don't ask.
Wow.
Okay.
And Mike, I do not see these stories beforehand. I don't have any approval on them. Steve just puts them in the chat. Crypto's discount sense rang in his ears as the women were distracted from the chase into fighting over who got the bag. The distraction worked, though it was an expensive distraction. I would think so.
But it was, yeah.
Crypto was the first to spot Mike as they raced along, though Mike, Mexican Iron Man, was the one who saw him throw something shiny their way and snag it out of the air.
Shiny.
As Crypto blinked, Mexican Iron Man suddenly changed. Where before Mexican Iron Man had been, now was sitting the legitimate love child of Danny Trejo and Fabio.
Whoa!
What
the hell?
What is going on, man?
I don't know.
Wow, Steve, okay.
How sober are you, T-Gap?
That's what I want to know.
Oh man,
Give me some.
Long, voluminous hair cascaded down his shoulder, blowing in the breeze. A set of double D cup boobs expanded his shirt, and Baron, this is Mike, Mexican Iron Man.
Oh,
careful, man.
Boobs. You said B's. So, I mean D's or whatever. It's like I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry. I just heard boobies. Call them moobs.
And a full magnificent mustache that said, "I mean business." Wait a minute. He still has his mustache?
I think so.
Interesting. Will Mike be safe? Excuse me. Will Mike be safe after having disposed of the comb from his person? Or is he in for a right non-sexy pounding from the women who tackled him? I don't know, Steve. I don't know.
What's non-sexy? How could it be non-sexy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Can Baron finish what he's planning to do that may just save them all? Or will he forget everything he learned in his paint by numbers class? Oh, come on. Give Baron more credit than that.
Paint by numbers.
I failed that class.
How could you fail that class, Baron? It's paint by numbers. You just follow the numbers, Baron.
1, 2, 5, 7, 4, 8, 9, 6. That's all.
What? Yes, I'm sure Mexican Iron Man and I would worry about breaking a nail.
Cass might.
I don't.
How can Mexican Iron Man get both crypto and the comb to safety without breaking a nail or ruining their new hairdo?
How magic is this comb anyway?
I don't know. I don't know. Ask T-Gap Steve. He's writing this.
Oh my gosh.
All this and more as Beverly Hills 414 continues after these messages.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
And I just want to jump in and say that Virginia heard that whole thing.
Virginia? Virginia. We're sorry. Whoa. Why is that?
Whoa! What the hell, man?
I thought I turned it off. I was putting the volume back to where it's supposed to be, and I thought I turned it off. Okay. But Virginia, we're sorry. We're so very, very sorry. How did this start, by the way? How the hell did this start, by the way?
It was just one day. T-Gap came by, started writing Beverly Hills 414,
and we said something about when it be
season 1 ended on a pretty good note, but I think season 2 we've already jumped the shark.
We have the magic comb. We don't know what the comb does. Mike and I, for some reason, are worried about breaking a nail, which I can't see that, but.
Well, you're more worried about having something happen.
So for some reason, Baron is having problems with his paint by the numbers.
And Tripping Orb says we're never going to see Vince or Brock on WWE TV again. From the way it's been sounding, I don't think we're going to hear anything about them.
We always knew, just learning things about Vince McMahon, that he, even going back to the XFL days, that this man intimidated people. He's definitely, goes along with being a bully. He's definitely got a massive ego. Like literally that man thought he was in the king of the world. But are you guys?
I'm the king of wrestling, damn it.
Are you guys feeling like this is one of those situations that he did these things?
I'll give you my thoughts once we've gone through the article, because I do have a few things that I want to say, and it's just my opinion.
Hi. Okay.
But I'll wait till after we've gone through the article. And hello, Spicy Peach. Good to see you. And DJ Ronnie G. Nerd.
Turtle, nerds. Turtle, nerd.
I hope everyone's doing well. So let's go ahead and get into this article. I actually have it from The Guardian. Yes.
The Guardian, isn't that a limey paper? That's right. You heard me. I said limey.
And you can read the whole article. They're not pulling some shenanigans.
So I've already put the link on the YouTube side. Let me go ahead and share said link. And everybody, if you have your own thoughts and beliefs about this whole thing, please let us know.
What is it? What is it, Mike? You can read a whole article in The Guardian once a week, and then the other ones you have to pay for. Is that how it goes? Or
places like Wall Street Journal and other places, you either have to buy a subscription or sign up for a subscription to read an article. And I'm not doing that. I don't want to have to sign up or pay for a subscription.
No, man,
just to read an article.
It's ridiculous.
There's a lot of good sources to go with. I mean, honestly. So, it's like, screw you guys. You guys, I'm going home.
Sometimes The Guardian makes sense. Most of the time they don't, but sometimes they do.
Guardian's something else. So is the Daily Mail.
I have tried that, DJ Ronnie G. It doesn't work that well.
What is he saying? Turtles?
He was trying to get me to use a violin bow on one of my guitars. I tried that once a few years ago. It didn't work very well.
I believe it.
That's Virginia, by the way.
And hello, Soul Stars Medic. Hello, Virginia.
Oh, that's right. Hi, Virginia.
Yep.
Okay.
Who, by the way, now has a Discord account, and she was able to join the VC with us when we played Mario Kart yesterday.
Yeah, she was in there for a little while, yeah.
One of us.
All right, so we have this article from The Guardian, and it says WWE founder Vince McMahon resigns amid sexual misconduct allegations. Wrestling mogul is accused of physical and emotional abuse and sexual assault and trafficking by a former employee.
The hell you say?
I'm sorry, I had to do that. I mean,
I understand.
Yeah.
And of course, this was actually posted on Saturday, January 27th on the Guardian's website. It says World Wrestling Entertainment founder Vince McMahon resigned from his post with the organization and its parent company on Friday amid sexual misconduct allegations against him by a former employee. He has denied the allegations. Of course he did.
I would.
Mm-hmm.
WWE's president, Nick Khan, wrote in an email to employees announcing the 78-year-old's departure, noting he'd be resigning from his roles as TKO executive chair and on the TKO board of directors, and that he'd no longer have a role with WWE.
78 years old?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Oh, geez.
Yes, he's the same age as my dad would have been.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And this is per NBC News, where they're getting this information. Last year, TKO Group Holdings was put together when WWE merged with Endeavor's Ultimate Fighting Championship. Earlier this week, former WWE employee Janelle Grant filed a lawsuit claiming she was the victim of physical and emotional abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking at WWE. The suit alleges that McMahon forced Grant into a sexual relationship, offering her a job and promotions in exchange, and distributed sexual images and videos of her to a variety of people, including fellow WWE employees, according to a report in Time.
Wow.
And give me one moment.
Sure.
I felt a cough coming on, so I didn't want to cough into the microphone.
Understandable.
As usual.
Grant's attorney, Ann Callis, told CNN on Thursday that the lawsuit seeks to hold accountable two WWE executives who sexually assaulted and trafficked plaintiff Janelle Grant, as well as the organization that facilitated or turned a blind eye to the abuse and then swept it under the rug. McMahon has denied the allegations, saying in a statement on Friday, "I stand by my prior statement that Ms. Grant's lawsuit is repelled with lies, obscene, made-up instances that never occurred, and is vindictive distortion of the truth. I intend to vigorously defend myself against these baseless accusations and look forward to clearing my name." Yeah, here's the thing. His lawyer, by the last name of Shapiro, he's retired.
Mm-hmm.
And why I'm bringing up his lawyer is because his lawyer has been able to get Vince out of trouble in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he the one that helped him out with the steroid allegations in the mid-90s?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The very same one. He continued, however, out of respect for the WWE universe, yeah, that's laughable. The extraordinary TKO business and the board members and shareholders, partners, and constituents, and all the employees and superstars who helped make WWE into the global leader it is today. I have decided to resign from my executive chairmanship and TKO board of directors.
Yeah, it never looks good when you do that.
No. McMahon took over WWE in 1982 from his father and founder of the then World Wrestling Federation, Vincent J. McMahon. In July 2022, McMahon retired from his role as CEO and chair amid allegations of sexual misconduct. After an investigation into those allegations by WWE was closed in 2022, McMahon returned to WWE's board in 2023, where he then, and I'm adding this in case anybody didn't know, McMahon then basically spearheaded the sale of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
He probably knew something was up.
Yeah, he knew something was up. He knew what he did, and this is just my thoughts on it, ladies and gentlemen. I have no proof on this. This is just my gut feeling. He knew what he did, and he wanted to get rid of WWE so then it would become someone else's problem.
Mm-hmm. And get some money.
Yeah.
So I want to mention this real quick with this on the outset.
Yeah.
He, of course, entitled to a fair trial like everyone else is, and of course, legally he is innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
True.
But we already said it like earlier in the stream. How is this unbelievable that he would be capable of this? He just presents himself as an absolute sleazebag. He's done it, pretty much since at least at minimum the 90s with the stuff he was willing to show in the Attitude Era and certainly the Ruthless Aggression era.
Correct.
Like, for example, what were their names? Terry Runnels and Jacqueline doing the different stuff they were doing to Mark Henry back in the day, the HLA stuff, him beating the crap out of his own daughter on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So who's really surprised that he's being accused of stuff like this behind the scenes?
Right. Well, we were saying before the show, Mike and I, it was like even goes back to the 80s where you had the accusations of him sexual inappropriate to the male wrestlers too.
Or allowing his friends like Pat Patterson to do that.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, when they're saying trafficking, the being accused of, it means, he was, basically making her a call girl, to be polite about that, because I can't think of anything else that would be. We know we had the, throughout the 80s and even into the, obviously the 90s with the doping stuff. It doesn't look good for him. Again, he's in it till proven guilty. But your past does catch up to you, so we'll have to see.
Yes. Now, having said all of this, I do have a question as someone that's completely ignorant of the law in this regard. Is this something he could potentially serve jail time over?
Yes.
If it goes to trial.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you gave me the perfect opportunity to do this, though, Paul. No, ignorant. Ignorant. There. You said
now,
you said ignorant.
Right.
That's okay.
Right now, it's a civil lawsuit.
Right.
But if it goes to trial, he could face criminal charges, including jail time.
Right.
So why is she going the civil route first? Why not go straight to a criminal case?
Think about it, Paul. The WWE alone has a lot of money. Their new parent company has a lot of money. She is trying to get all the money she can. She has been quoted as saying that she's doing this for other victims who are too afraid to come out.
Okay.
So, hopefully she's being upfront about that. If she's doing it, maybe, hopefully, if that's the case, she'll share the. But then it should be a full-fledged class action. It's that more than her being involved.
Yeah, and this is just me asking a question. And that question is, did she and McMahon have some sort of money under the table deal, and was Vince not paying? And
I know she was
speculation on it.
I know she was getting $3 million every so often to keep quiet about this. In fact, isn't that what started all of this investigation back in 2023, as the article mentioned, the whole hush money thing?
Well, Vince came back in 2023, but he stepped down in August of 2022 because we even talked about it here on Pop Talk.
Yeah.
Vince stepping down. I remember Phil at the time saying Vince would find a way to come back. He obviously found a way to come back just so he could make the sale of WWE to Endeavor that went through and formed TKO Holdings. But there's a lot more to this than we know. Definitely a lot more to this.
Yeah, and again, I'm this is speculation. I'm not accusing, but going out there is like, well, how dirty is she? And like kind of what Paul was saying, that is this revenge for not following through on words, just not necessarily, but someone who felt they got wronged, and not in the other sense, but the fact that, hey, I thought we were business partners on it. You're holding back. Okay, I'm going to do this to you now. I mean, I don't know.
And that is a scary thought, Spicy Peach.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see.
Well, I mean, even some of the wrestling dirt sheets and the wrestling YouTube channels have been talking about things that went on behind the scenes between the plaintiff and Vince McMahon, and from what they're reporting, I don't know if it's true. That's why I'm not going to say what it is. But if true, it's absolutely disgusting.
Right. We don't know. That's what the trial's for. I just brought up a question about speculation that, it was, there's no honor among thieves idea, but, you don't know. You don't know. I'm not even going to accuse. I'm just saying, what are the possibilities? Which people have to do, especially when they're in the law of things. Is what are all the possibilities? We have to, look at it all, no matter how ridiculous some of it is.
Right.
But it doesn't look good when Vince McMahon has a paper trail already.
Yeah. And Trippin' Orca is saying she agreed to an NDA, but he didn't want to finish paying her. And if he agreed to that NDA and he was going to pay her a certain amount of money and didn't pay, well, that's what brought this about.
Lord,
oh my God! Really, Crit? Really?
I hate to say this, though, Crit. There are people. There are people out there that are into this. I hate to say, yeah. So I don't even want to go into the area. Just don't look up Two Girls, One Cup. That's all I got to see. Don't look that up.
There's no.
And I'm aware that 70-page document is in the Wall Street Journal, but again, it's not a thing I'm going to sign up for.
No,
and even pay for a subscription just so I could read that 70-page document.
Oh yeah, please. Be our guest. Sorry.
If this is true,
yeah,
you will never hear the name Vince McMahon ever again.
No, and by that same token, I know everyone was basically saying that the moment that Vince retires, he will be a shoo-in for whatever the following next year's WWE Hall of Fame will be. Not after this. He is going to get scrubbed from the record books.
Well, people will be saying the name of Vince McMahon on there, but they'll be doing this first. Vince McMahon. That's how it's going to be. So now I got to clean my desk. Damn it.
But here's the thing too. WrestleMania is coming up. I don't know if it's in late March, early April, but it's the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. At least as far as their calendar is concerned. The first WrestleMania was in 1985, but they've had 39 WrestleManias since then.
April 6th through 7th.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, think about it. He was there, and he is partially responsible for WrestleMania being what it is. And with these allegations, he will not be there to celebrate something that was monumental at the time. Nobody even thought of doing anything like a WrestleMania.
No,
at the time.
Mm-mm.
And people are going to be talking about this case during WrestleMania. How could you not? The whole wrestling world is talking about this case.
Yeah. I was watching one guy on YouTube, the channel Wrestling with Regret, and he was talking about, his own sensibilities, but brought up the point of, can we in good conscience continue to watch this knowing what we know now about Vince, which, that's something everyone's got to answer for themselves. And he said for himself, he'll still continue to put out content for it, but it is going to leave something of a bad taste in his mouth, knowing that Vince McMahon was doing all this and yet building wrestling into what it is today.
Well, yeah, of course he wants to build into something like it is today because he wants to have his legacy. He might be a scumbag, and notice I said the word "might be," because I got to qualify that. But of course, it doesn't mean that he doesn't want to be remembered for being this. He surpassed his father and things like that. Look what I turned wrestling into, and I turned it into a household name. Yeah, people knew about wrestling before, but my God, it's superstardom, and these wrestlers went on to do these big careers afterwards.
But also remember, on a side note, when Vince bought the WWF from his father, Jess McMahon, his father didn't want him to compete against the territories.
It's another situation, it seems, that just like the Joss Whedon thing, not Josh, but Joss, that it's like, oh, he gave us all this entertainment. Then you start peeling the layers. Oh, this person doesn't seem like that good of a
yeah.
Well, you kind of ask yourself this question: how many WWE executives, including Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, knew about this?
Right.
I think,
like you said, the paper trail, right?
Or dare I say, might have been involved in some of it. You got to throw that.
So I had heard a rumor, as far as Stephanie goes, and Shane, that the biggest reason why Shane and Vince had the falling out that they did in the mid to late 2000s is because Shane found out about this and wanted nothing to do with it, and was even trying to actively get his dad to stop, but of course he didn't listen, and that's why Shane left when he did. And Stephanie found out like just after or around the same time as Vince weaseling his way back in 2023, which is why she left. And I wouldn't be surprised now that Vince is gone if she comes back.
But the thing is, will she want to come back? Because what's going to happen too is because she's Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince McMahon. She's going to be asked, how much of this did you know about? And why didn't you say anything beforehand?
Yep.
That is true. But at the same time, I could also see her coming back just simply because of the fact that her husband is still there. And kind of on a side tangent with that too, for those that watched the post-show press conference for the Royal Rumble this past weekend, Triple H was directly asked about these allegations, and he fumbled his answer, basically saying, "No, I have not read the allegations. I just want to focus on the positive." And I get what he's doing. It's PR spin, but go back and watch Cody's answer. And again, he's doing PR spin, but he handles it more professionally and more gentlemanly than Triple H did.
Well, I think the big problem, though, too, is the association, because for a lot of people, in many ways, Vince McMahon was the face of this wrestling. He made sure he got his face out there. He made sure that his voice was heard, and even participated in some of the shenanigans out there on the mat and such. So how are they going to reel back from this? Where, I mean, I hesitate to put it on the same level, but maybe in some ways it is. Look at Bill Cosby, right? And the level of where he was so identified. And people knew that, there were things going on. They just never really knew how bad it was. So it's going to be, I think one of the things that's going to be hard is, knowing that face out there. If this goes into trial, it's going to, it's going to be a circus.
Would it be too far? Would it be too much of a stretch to possibly compare this to Michael Jackson and what he was dealing with? Because for whatever reason, this is like, I'm noticing some similarities where the accusers of Michael Jackson first wanted to go civil case instead of criminal.
Right. And was the attorneys that actually wanted to go to the criminal, the city, the state or whoever it was that was involved in all that, which this could happen here. They might turn around and take a look at that going, oh, no, because, especially if there's money involved.
True.
And real quick, I do want to say hello to Pops. Good to see you, Pops.
Hey, Pops.
Hey, Pops.
I mean, this is a nasty situation, and I feel sorry for wrestling fans about this.
It's just going to get even uglier as the case goes on.
And this is the 40th year of WrestleMania, and this is what's going to be over the whole thing.
It's going to overshadow it.
Yep. No,
I mean, how many former wrestlers, employees of WWE are looking at this like, okay, finally, Vince is being exposed.
Yeah,
right.
Like, look at what Ronda Rousey said recently. Ronda Rousey basically says, okay, now that Vince is gone, you need to fire X, Y, and Z other people too. I won't say their names because through those people, Vince will still have some influence.
Yeah, but look at what happened with Ronda Rousey after she lost finally in the MMA or UFC MMA. I don't know what
UFC.
Same thing.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. She started going crazy. She was on Ellen. She's like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I lost. I can't. And then she just started acting a little nuts. And it's like, I started losing respect for her. So I know she joined the WWE, but she didn't need to act like that. You lost. Start building yourself up. I understand she went through some nonsense, but still.
Yeah.
She just started talking about, I don't want to be on this earth anymore. Basically, that's what she said. I don't want to go into all the details, but so then she joined the WWE, and I kind of just rolled my eyes. It's like, but you were an MMA fighter.
To her credit, when she, for those first, from WrestleMania to about Survivor Series, when she was in WWE, the fans loved her. But things started going downhill through no fault of her own at first at Survivor Series because one other superstar got more popular than her, and people stopped caring about Ronda Rousey. And Ronda Rousey basically took the crowd booings personally, more personally than she should have,
right?
And basically made herself into the bad guy when perhaps she shouldn't have.
Well, she was always talking, I'm this strong, I'm this. I remember even on ESPN when she was doing interviews, and then she loses and she starts being like, oh, woe is me. What do I do now? It was embarrassing. It really was.
You sit down, you watch Rocky, and you see what happens after he loses, and he just gets himself ready for the next one. Yeah, that's what you do.
And I'll admit it. I used to go to a local restaurant here that used to show the UFC fights with a couple of friends. And every time Rousey came out, we were all cheering because she was unstoppable.
Yeah. But even Mike Tyson goes down. I mean, I mean, what do? Well, you pick yourself up and you get yourself ready. That's what any trainer, that's what any coach tells you. It's a quote. Quote the phrase from League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, and with these allegations coming out, does anybody here on the panel, anybody in the chat find it interesting that this civil case comes out just as WWE signed that deal with Netflix for Monday Night Raw.
And The Rock joined.
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I gotta do it.
And
I gotta do it.
Very interesting, but stupid.
There we go.
But also the timing with this past weekend having been the weekend of the Royal Rumble, one of WWE's big pay-per-views leading up to WrestleMania.
Right.
This overshadows the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Paul, during the post-Royal Rumble press conference, you said Cody Rhodes was able to navigate the question smoothly while Triple H fumbled.
Exactly.
Yeah, they need to be on the ball on that. It doesn't look good if you fumble through them.
No. I mean, it still makes me ask the question: what did Triple H know? What did Stephanie know? We do know that John Laurinaitis, who was part of talent relations, is involved in this case.
Yeah.
Mr. People Power.
Yeah, and you know, his relationship with Vince, but also being the father-in-law to both Brie and Nikki Bella, who both wrestled for WWE.
And they recently put out a statement too, saying no matter who's involved, we are completely against this.
This is a messy, ugly situation, buddy.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who else is involved in this.
Yeah, and maybe Vince is involved, but not as bad. And the accuser has some fingers going back to them. Maybe it's worse. Maybe it's not that bad at all. And it's just the fact that it's his reputation following him, which has happened to others. It's easy to make the accusation because, well, he already has this track record. So we don't know. I'm not, we have our speculations, we have our suspicions, but that's not enough to lock a person up.
No, this has to go to trial. The investigators have to comb through it, find out what's true, what isn't.
Right. And I assure you, this is going to be a bigger show than the wrestling. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah. We also though can't ignore not that I'm hoping that justice is ultimately done here, but we also can't ignore the fact that this could be just yet another example of Me Too.
Right.
True.
I mean,
in this day and age, you can't rule anything else.
No. You hate to say something like that, but we've seen the abuse that was done with that.
Oh yes. Yes. It started off as a good thing, and then it just went into the sewer.
Exactly.
And thank you for that information, Trippy and Orc. I will probably look through that 70-page document to see exactly what it says, and I'm not going to do it during a live stream.
Oh, come on. We should have a special episode of Pop Talk. The Vince people.
That might have to be Rumble only.
Oh, I have Mike from PACIFIC414 with this very important with me.
Well, this is just another situation, right? Yeah. This is just another situation. We'll see how it all plays out. We saw what happened with Jonathan recently, and that shit is crazy. So yeah,
Jonathan
Majors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For whatever reason, I thought you were talking about my little brother.
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. If you want to know about your little brother, we got about a 75-page document on him.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, trust me. Oh, trust me. Nah, John's good.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, again, of course, we kept out of that one until it was over. But
yes. And other people were ready. No. It's like, no, stop. We don't have all the evidence. We're not going to throw out accusations that we don't know are true or not. That's stupid.
But the one thing we did discover,
just like with this, we don't have all the evidence presented.
Right.
We need to wait for that evidence to be presented.
Yep.
And with that Johnson Major thing, basically it came to the conclusion both of them were effed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean,
they were.
You have that. Yeah, you have that situation out there.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, Yep. And there will be people out there just because they don't like Vince McMahon, and I understand that.
Mhm.
So how can you not believe this? How can you not believe this? It's like,
I mean, look at the
I
social
wasn't
media
there.
of Ryback
I
these
wasn't
days.
there.
I wasn't there. Exactly. I'm not there.
yeah,
I'm
didn't
not
see
going to
those
just
videos.
throw around. I don't care who it is. I want
Right.
to see the evidence. I
Right.
know how hurtful.
What the hell, Cash? That's not how America works.
Guilty until proven innocent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if they're arrested? Obviously, they have to be guilty, or we wouldn't be arresting them.
Yep.
Yeah, right. The accusation was made. Obviously, no one would make a false accusation, now, would they? Never.
No, never.
Oh no,
That
not
can't
not
happen.
for financial gain.
Right.
Not at
Exactly.
all.
Never. Not at all.
Financial
No way.
or political or power. None of that.
Personal gain of any
Yeah,
kind.
Right.
exactly.
No one would do that.
And hello to the Padawannabe who says, "Yay, I'm live now. Just came out of ludicrous speed. Hello all."
Oh.
I
welcome.
you know what? One of these days I should listen to Pop Talk on ludicrous speed.
Yeah. That'd be something.
They've gone to plaid.
I mean,
Oh,
I think
don't get me wrong when I say this, folks, because I'm with Tribune Work. I was a big fan of WWF before it became WWE in the 80s. Then in the 90s with the Attitude Era. I mean, going back and forth between WWE and WCW during the Monday Night Wars. I know that's been worn out to so many extents. But I was a fan. I was a big fan. And then the product just started to go down. As a wrestling fan, I couldn't support it.
Well, the thing is he was a good showman.
Yeah.
He could go out there and he could take shots at himself, which of course, why would anybody think that he's this megalomaniac when he's more than willing to, to take the hits himself out there? But,
Right.
again.
Go look at the video of him showing Rob Gronkowski how to jump off a balcony in his mid-70s.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what?
That was right during lockdown, too.
Mm-hmm. I think the best thing to say about this is this. Doggone it. Why does it do that?
I don't know. It's StreamYard.
Yeah, is this.
How many of you think the opinions of actors should be valued as much as, well, say, doctors, engineers, or a courageous congressman?
Right here. Yeah, right on.
Well, you're wrong. Actors are self-centered punks.
And,
Awesome.
and let's face it, that's what he was. He was an actor doing all that. So.
Yeah.
But that's for a lot of people, not just him.
Yeah, and I do remember those days, Tripping Orc, where you did have to hide that you were still a wrestling fan because everybody would go, "Oh, it's fake, it's scripted."
Mm-hmm.
Still entertainment.
So is any other TV show on TV or any movie you go see at the theater.
They did not watch that Dateline special a number of years ago. Is that this stuff takes training, and yes, fine, it's fake and it's scripted, but if you don't do it right, you can really hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's not a joke.
And in cases, there have been wrestlers who have died in the ring or pulling off a stunt. Owen Hart back in '99 during the King of the Ring pay-per-view.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fell to his death.
Or another example, this one fortunately wasn't fatal, but Darren Drozdov. He ended up getting paralyzed from the neck down because of a spot gone bad.
Right.
Yeah. He was wrestling with D'Lo Brown at the time, and D'Lo Brown was performing a pile driver, and unfortunately, there was a mishap with the pile driver. It wasn't performed correctly.
Yeah.
And it paralyzed Darren Drozdov.
Right.
And
Or
unfortunately, he passed away last year.
Or even in recent examples, what happened to Big E? He landed wrong off a spot with Drew McIntyre, broke his neck. He's still not back, and that was nearly 2 years ago now.
And you're absolutely right, Phil, because there have been many people that come out saying Owen was apprehensive about doing that stunt as the Blue Blazer.
Yeah.
But he was being told, oh, it's fine. Steen does it all the time over in WCW. This is safe. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. We've heard that before, haven't we?
Thing is, though, I think if I remember correctly, though, actually, never mind. Forget it. I was about to say something that I wasn't sure wasn't right.
Okay, no problem.
Because
say something?
I will say this, and I do fault Vince McMahon for this. When that incident happened during that pay-per-view, Vince kept going on with the show. I know the old adage, the show must go on, but in a case like that, he should have ended the show right then and there.
Yeah, a lot of people said that when they found out exactly what was going on. A lot of people didn't know exactly that.
Because and the reason why is because they're used to the guys getting in there and putting their bodies on the line and pulling off stunts and then just laying there for kayfabe reasons. Oh, he's quote unquote knocked out.
Yeah.
Right. Real quick, bring up what Phil just said there, because I was going to kind of harp on that point too. Where that's basically what I was going to try and say. I just have no way to confirm it. The fact that Owen had substandard equipment to do that drop compared to what WCW had. Now, I didn't know, and thank you, Phil, for saying this. I didn't know that Owen only had 2 wires to do his descent, where Gene and Sting had 3. What I was going to say was, I'm sure that WWE was trying to go the cheap route with this, where WCW, which probably at this point had more money because of Ted Turner, they could afford the more expensive, better equipment that was less prone to fail. But again, I have no way to verify that.
Don't know.
We don't know. We weren't there.
Yeah.
We weren't part of the team that put that whole stunt together.
Yeah. All we know is it was sad. It was horrible. It shouldn't have happened.
Go back and watch, those that haven't seen it, the footage of that pay-per-view after the incident happens. As the show continues, everyone from Jim Ross and the King to the referees to the wrestlers, they're just all rattled. And even in the main event match, The Undertaker, as he's waiting for Stone Cold to come to the ring, is looking right at the spot where it happened, and he is just
they were all shaken.
Yeah, and rightly so.
They just, especially when you find out that Owen died, they witnessed the death of a colleague, a friend.
And you wonder why Martha Hart wants nothing to do with WWE.
And you understand why Brett has the stance he has about it.
Right. But and you know what? They should have called it anyways, because like you're saying, these guys were all shook. That's going to affect what they're doing out there, which means a higher chance of something else going wrong, which you don't want to have. And it's right that you can't blame them for being shook. Obviously, I mean, a compatriot, a friend, a colleague, whatever you want to, whatever it was to them, that happened, and it's like, why are we still going on here? It's just sad. They should not have done that.
They should have called the pay-per-view, said, okay, we're cutting it right here, and told the audience, due to the unfortunate event involving Owen Hart, we are postponing the rest of this pay-per-view.
Right. They could have done the rest of the matches, say, on Raw the next day as they did the tribute Raw as Owen. Good on them for it. But all of the matches that could have happened on that pay-per-view could have happened at the next Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
Or even say, okay, we couldn't finish the King of the Ring tournament, so we will have those matches continue at our next pay-per-view.
Or what they really could have done is posthumously name Owen King of the Ring, even if he wasn't in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a nice gesture, but
yeah. But then again,
hindsight's 2020 on something like that too. And
yeah, that's true.
What they should have done, what they did do. We here in the here and now know what happened. They didn't know at first what happened. They knew that he fell, but they didn't know how severe the injuries were until they took him to the hospital, and he was.
Well, you have that little nasty word that I'm sure that Vince McMahon hates too: refund. It's like, if they were going to do another pay-per-view, well, he's going to have to let the ones that were part of this pay-per-view have it for free or refund the money. And I'm sure there's a little bit of that was in there.
Yep. Yeah. And you're absolutely right, Tripping Orc. They don't show that tribute to Chris Benoit.
No.
I remember watching that Monday Night Raw and seeing Chris Benoit. I believe it was 1967 to 2007. Correct me on the years if I'm incorrect on that, but
that sounds about right.
But when I saw that, I'm like, what? No, and then of course you hear about what happened with that. It's like, and the sick son of a bitch.
And then the opening to that following ECW, where Vince says, "Okay, here's what really happened. We're never going to mention Chris again after this."
But then after that too, remember that they stopped doing chair shots to the head.
In fact, the second match that Triple H had with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, I want to say it was WrestleMania 27.
It was.
There was a spot. Yeah, there was a spot where Triple H did do a chair shot to the head of The Undertaker, and both of them got fined massively for it.
Because that's one of the banned moves in WWE. Rightfully so. You don't want somebody having a concussion like so many performers had, men and women.
Yeah.
Remember, Mike, when I want to say at the first AEW Fighter Fest in 2019, when Shawn Spears first debuted and did a chair shot to the head on Cody, how everyone was criticizing that?
Yeah. Yeah, especially knowing what we know now. I mean, Christopher Nowinski, perfect example of someone who suffered a concussion while wrestling for WWE. He has a foundation to help those who have suffered concussions while playing sports.
Right.
Or
I mean, just like football.
Or the issues from head trauma that puts Daniel Bryan on the shelf for as long as he was.
Yeah. And some say he shouldn't be back in the ring because of that and other injuries he suffered. Wrestling, yeah, it's fun to watch, but when you do become invested in it and you find out things that happen behind the scenes, it makes you wonder, why did they decide to put themselves at risk for so many injuries? And the simple answer to that is, because you'll hear a lot of retired wrestlers, even current wrestlers, say it, it's because they love it.
Right. It's just like football. I mean, look at all the, everything you see about those guys in football. No, not just concussions, but the rest of their body, their knees, their shoulders, their, how they're severely arthritic, and sometimes even getting cases of dementia because of too many headshots.
Oh yeah.
But why are they doing it? Because they love it.
Yeah, I mean, look at all of the wrestlers that are still alive that were active in the golden era, the late 80s, early 90s. And you want to talk about a bodily abuse. These are guys that weren't just taking the super unprotected chair shots to the head, but were also shooting up with steroids too. And look at how shriveled up they're getting. Hogan has to take like a cup of different pills that big, because I remember seeing this on TV one time. I think this was around his TNA one, where he says he's got holes in his arms, in the muscles in his arms that he has to treat. Or look at, say, Ahmed Johnson. He's completely unrecognizable to the mountain of muscle that he was in 1997.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw in Jesse Ventura.
Yes.
No, I mean, look at it. Look at what he looks like now. He's unrecognizable. He really is.
I only laugh because of the way he talks.
Duh, I don't got time to read. Unless, of course, it's about Kennedy assassination. I'm going to sit here and watch TV in my new Zubas commando style. Because I hunted man.
But Tripping Orc does bring up the angle of Vince McMahon, going into the limo. This closed out Monday Night Raw. He gets into the limo, closes the door, and the limo blows up with quote unquote Vince inside. No, Vince wasn't actually inside the limo. They just did a cut of Vince going into the limo and then a wide shot cut of them blowing up a limo. And they're going to go with the angle of Vince McMahon being dead. And they even had it the next day. Vince McMahon, 1944, 45 to 2007. And then because of what happened with Chris Benoit, they axed that whole angle.
Right. That, believe it or not, I heard was supposed to be the original catalyst for that illegitimate son angle that they ended up doing, and Hornswoggle ended up being the punchline of that one.
No. Well,
as far as these accusations are concerned, we got to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. And I know we're going to move on. I know we're going to move on here, but I do have one last question about this.
Okay.
How bad do you think this will affect the WWE and all that?
I don't think the WWE as a whole is going to die. I think WWE is like Disney in the sense that they're too big to ever truly go away. Their name alone will ensure that they will endure even through this. But it's definitely going to put more eyes of scrutiny on them.
I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on Endeavor as the new parent company of WWE under their TKO banner, and basically have the owner, I can't remember his name, but he's going to have to look at everybody who was close to Vince and decide, do they stay or do they go? Because as long as you have people that are close to Vince still working for WWE and people who knew about this still working for WWE, it's going to linger. That question's going to linger. Did they or did they not know? And if they did know, what do they know? And how long have they known it?
Right.
And just as one final question from me, it was kind of mentioned, but we also kind of glossed over it. What's your thoughts, Mike, on the fact that Brock Lesnar is being attached to this?
If he's attached to this, well, if proven guilty, again, innocent until proven guilty. We don't know. We weren't there. But if it's proven that he was involved in this, then just like Chris Benoit, he should be wiped from the record books.
Agreed. Which I'm going to say this too. That is actually one of the good things now about the fact that Roman Reigns has been champion for as long as he was, because if Brock Lesnar still was the longest reigning Universal Champion, they would have had to put the Universal title on someone else and keep it on them for longer than that, so that he's no longer so that he's no longer relevant in that way.
Yeah, and getting to John Laurinaitis again, if true, again, we don't know, but if true, he will never be mentioned again. Any episode of Raw that had him as general manager of Raw, they'll cut out those segments. Any segments that he was in. You know,
it never happened.
They're in a mess. They're in a mess right now.
Mm-hmm. Good job, Vince.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I know this is, not the usual laughing, joking opening of Pop Talk. I mean, yes, we did have Beverly Hills 414, but when it comes to stories like this, I've even told Baron and Cash.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes time to be serious, we can get serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is no laughing matter.
No.
Not at all.
Whether it turns out to be true, whether it turns out to be false, it's still no laughing matter. Things like this aren't something to just point your finger and laugh.
Oh, hell
no. No.
It raises a lot of questions.
You can have that sad, ironic laugh, which is not a laugh of joy or whatever. It's like, I can't believe it. Which humans are prone to do for, basically one of our survival instincts, but it's not the let's go out there and yuck it up and besmirch people when we don't know the full story.
Right.
And it just doesn't look good no matter what, any way, shape, and form that this is, and let the game work out. And we know we're going to hear a lot about it. I think we're finally going to get Taylor Swift knocked out of the news for once.
Yeah.
And still, I want everybody's opinion, whether you're watching on YouTube, watching on Rumble. Leave your opinion about this case in the chat, or if you want to leave it in the comments section, leave it in the comments section. Because I want to hear everybody's point of view, or read everybody's point of view.
I hear Cash tapping away right now.
No, that's not me.
No, you're always up for a good comment war.
No, that's not somebody else. That's Paul tapping. It's his flicker.
We had to walk out with at least a little bit of a chuckle.
That is true.
So is that your expense, Cash?
No. You go sit in the corner, Baron. I told you. What do you say? I'm sorry. I'm so very, very sorry.
No.
So now we shift gears from Vince McMahon to Daisy Ridley. And this article comes from The Hollywood Reporter. It was actually posted on their website on the 27th. It says Daisy Ridley recalls director J.J. Abrams' advice after Star Wars casting. This is a religion for people. Yeah, so is Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so is other sci-fi things. So is Babylon 5 to certain people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hey, don't besmirch the name. Say it with reference.
Well, he can't tell. He can't tell himself. He's not.
Filthy Centauri. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna add some levity to this.
Oh, we have to.
He keeps going on with that excuse that I am a filthy Centauri. But look at him. He's ashamed to show off his chin as Chinkar.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Really?
I like to laugh.
You're not helping, Kosh.
Another filthy Centauri. Yep.
Look this. This is a nod. For anyone who doesn't know, this is a nod.
Look at that chin.
They cannot be trusted. Especially that one. Paul, you can be Veer. You can be my assistant. You can be my assistant Veer.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
Well, we'll get to that in the next.
You are a moon-faced assassin of Droid. That's what you'd be.
I'll take it. That sounds kind of close to Slytherin.
Slytherin.
There, you moonface assassin. What is it now?
It says here Ridley battled intense anxiety during the release of The Last Jedi, eventually leading to the development of holes in her gut.
Ugh, that's not good.
Daisy Ridley recalled director J.J. Abrams' words of wisdom following her casting in 2015's The Force Awakens, saying this week that he told her to understand the scale of the film franchise before accepting the lead role. JJ, you should have taken your own advice.
I was just going to say the same thing, man. The same thing.
I'm a male feminist. Well, we're happy for you, JD. Now go away.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Cash. It's about time.
Ridley played protagonist Rey in The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, leading the Star Wars. I know that. You know that.
Right.
Leading the Star Wars films through their first years following Disney's acquisition of the George Lucas universe. Wow.
You got it.
You made a save. You made a save. I won't even comment about it.
All right.
He flubbed, didn't he? I'll tell you.
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I even.
I'm sorry.
You said you weren't supposed to make.
I thought the mic was off. I thought the mic was off.
You bastard.
I am a bastard. I'm sorry.
How do I know that Baron isn't a filthy non?
He might be.
Really? You're gonna go there? You're gonna go there? Fine, go there.
Another man with a beautiful chin, or character, whatever you want to call it.
This is not a role in a movie, Ridley recalled Abrams telling her in a new interview. No, and nor is the Star Wars franchise just something you can play with and then throw around and beat up. Oh, wait a minute, that's what you did. You battered it around, treated it like a rag doll, and gave it total disrespect. But this interview was an inverse. This is a religion for people. It changes things on a level that is inconceivable. I just wanted to throw that in there.
I don't think you understand the meaning of the word.
Abrams, Ridley says, was right. Star Wars changed her life, launching her status as a celebrity and pushing her to the forefront of an extremely passionate fan base.
Yeah, well, look. Look.
I call bullshit. I call.
Yeah. No, because the thing is, like, after Star Wars, at least somebody like Mark Hamill found a voice acting career, but Daisy Ridley doesn't seem to. I don't even know if she can sell. Never mind.
Well, even Adam Driver, he's not a box office draw.
No. But
he might be a quality actor, but he's
yeah.
He did well. You know, Gucci did well, but once again, this other stuff, 65, which I know Mike liked. I have not seen it.
Right.
Black Klansman. I think he, if I remember that movie, did well. I think.
It did well.
But I think it did well, if I remember. But other than that, and Ferrari didn't do well. So.
Also, what's John Boyega been doing post Star Wars?
He's been doing some stuff, but he's not a happy man.
He doesn't seem to be a happy person.
Well, because he realizes he was sold a bill of goods from JJ and gang.
JJ, I mean, it's Ryan Johnson. I don't know. It's just it's also weird. Yeah, Ruin Johnson, right? For Star Wars, yeah. It would have been. I know Crit has brought this up before. He says, "Well, what if it was just JJ doing the whole thing?" I said, "Well, maybe it would have been better." But when you come out and say you don't have a plan and all this stuff, and it just goes in a circle, it's just it's a mess. And sitting there, still thinking about in the theater, being like, "Oh, they finally said something about Rey's origins," and then thinking about it, and I said, "Is that really what I was happy about?" And that's why I, at the time, thought I liked this movie. Okay, now it's time to bang my head on something. But really, it's because a person like me, I like background. And it was like, can we finally get an origin about Rey? Oh, now we're going to get a movie. Oh, now it's failed or it's canceled or whatever. But I don't really understand it. I think they've done so much damage to Rey. That's how I feel personally, that I don't know how they could come back from it. I really don't.
They have done.
It could be any character. Look at what's happened with Marvel, DC. I mean, all these major properties that all four of us have grown up with. Even though Paul's younger than us, but he still knows about Batman, the animated series, and other shows like that. Yeah. That we grew up with, and it just seems like this stuff is literally having a wrecking ball taken to it. And like you guys said, play around with it. Here's some Play-Doh. Let's see what we make with it. Well, we're not making the best stuff.
Here's some crap. Let's throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks.
Right.
I mean, honestly, really, let's be.
It's the same thing I would say. It's like, okay, you like the sequels, but have you ever gone back and watched the older stuff? Have you watched the OT? Have you watched the prequels?
Sounds like your puppy's getting sort of excited back there, Baron.
I have no idea what the hell is going on.
I think it's what Cash was saying, that it was just getting riled up. Yeah, I agree with Cash.
Well, in the demographics, Cash does have the highest ratio of dog listeners.
That would be interesting.
I could believe that.
Yeah, he does have it.
That would be, yes. Well, my trail of dogs will follow me. Go my canines now, but
the children of the night.
Right. No, it's embarrassing, guys. It's just, and it doesn't have to be embarrassing, because once again, JJ is a person who has done stuff that I have enjoyed, from Alias to even Lost, to other stuff. But the thing is, even with the Star Trek, even with Star Wars, like, once again, we've talked about this over and over again. It's another beast. And do you want to? You should respect the beast.
Well, I mean, he's absolutely, because it's something that a lot of us, not just me, but a lot of us have been sitting back saying, this is our mythology, this is our folklore. These are the things that, that have moral guides, moral compasses to them. How to be, how to grow. And of course, action event. I mean, obviously it's an action adventure fun time, but still, you get to see what heroes do, the struggles that heroes do, and what they endure, and you hope that the bad guy at the end gets it, just like any saga you have, or whatnot. I mean, obviously you have with the Scandinavians, most of those are usually so fatalistic that at the end the hero dies, but still he's on that quest. He's still a powerful figure.
And if you're going to kill a hero, you're going to kill a villain, do it in the best way you can possible, that makes sense to the story.
And don't make the good guy be the one that falls into the pit.
Right. So in a sense, absolutely. This is a religion, and you have to be very respectful. And in this case, we know where the source is. His name is George Lucas, that bearded individual that wears flannel shirts all the time. So it's there. It is still accessible. It's your source. What can we do to help improve on this and continue on? I know it's not yours anymore, but what can we do to ensure that's better? But no, they think that they're better than the creator. They think they're better than Homer. Oh yeah, Homer had those 2 poems. Yeah, but I got one. I got Odysseus, and he's going to go into a Winnebago across Greece. How's that sound? Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Do I have a plan? No, he's just going to go across Greece.
They do an adaptation of stuff. Say something was Shakespeare, like that one man. He says, "I don't care what he thinks. He's dead." It's like, wow, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true, but geez.
Yeah. You have enough sense
quite arrogant.
Utter arrogance to it all, and you have enough to know what it is that makes this machine go. And I was upset, not at Daisy Ridley per se, except for a couple of things that she said. But the Boyega or the one who played Poe, even Rose, the poor girl who played Rose, it wasn't her fault.
Right.
No, it wasn't.
It was Ruin Johnson and the stupid writing that made it such inconsistency and made the character not likable. It wasn't her.
Right.
Yeah.
And she suffered for it. They basically Jar Jarred her for Rise of Palpatine. Yeah, we'll put her in there, but we're going to just make sure it's just the background cameo type thing. Here's a couple of words like Jar Jar had in Attack of the Clones. Go away. It's like,
right.
Please.
Right. Well, then she was
for.
just right, and then she was just wasted in the third movie. That's what happened with a lot of characters, including Poe. They were just wasted. They were just more in the background. It was like,
yeah, because Rey had to be the centerpiece.
Right.
And in the thing where I sat back and said that taking issue to the actress, not the part, was Daisy Ridley going out there and saying that that Rey has no faults.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's
it's like then you didn't understand.
You don't understand your character.
Yeah, exactly. You don't understand what was told to you by Jar Jar, who himself didn't listen to his own words.
No. And it says here in this quote, for friends and family or any people who see something in a slightly different way than you do, there's this projection of you and you in that world and how it feels to do this and that, she said. And you're like, well, actually, I'm just a human being separate from that. It's quite this wrestle of the reality and the fantasy that's often projected onto you. Ridley said the stress came at her quickly when all the craziness was going on. I was like, I'm good. I'm coping fine. Everything's fine. And I'm fine for the most part. But I think that's what I was really grappling with, was that it was my normal, but it was not normal to other people. Mm-hmm. Her stress soon manifested physically, and by that time, The Last Jedi reached theaters. Ridley had developed holes in her gut wall. My body was just fucking up. She told GQ in 2019, I got tests done, and it turned out my body was taking in no nutrients. I was just a little skeleton, and I was just so tired. I was becoming a ghost. And you got to blame Disney on that, too. If they didn't prepare her for what was going to be coming at her, let's face it. Joining a franchise like Star Wars, it's going to come at you very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and let's face it, with The Force Awakens, there wasn't all that much criticism towards her or anybody with the Force Awakens.
No.
Yeah.
It was when The Last Jedi came around that was what caused the firestorm of, you got to be shitting me. What the hell is this?
What's the worst we could have said at the time? Most people could have said to The Force Awakens, it's just A New Hope all over again, which is valid. That is true, but it is nothing compared to what the criticisms were lobbied at Last Jedi and Rise of Palpatine.
Right. Oh, I mean, I got a few others. I mean, how basically, again, rooting the character, because Poe was supposed to have been killed in the beginning of the film when the X-wing blew up, or when not the X-wing blew up, but when the TIE fighter crashed, he was supposed to have been killed. But some people saw some early stuff before that. And what is his name again? Oscar
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Thank you. I thought it was Oscar Isaac. I get that confused with Jason Isaac. But he women were going ooh over him. It's like, oh, we got to have the stud muffin in there. So they bring the character back mysteriously. No answer. No, how the hell do you get off of that planet in the first place? While Finn and Rey had to do all their shenanigans.
Mystery box, Baron. Mystery box.
Yeah. Why did you leave the important droid behind? He should have been combing that desert more than those Spaceballs guys were. Looking for his friend, because that droid is supposed to be his friend. So you leave it behind.
You guys seen anything yet? We ain't no shit.
Right, exactly. But it's like, okay, well, that ruins the character. It ruins the fact that the seriousness of the character. You mean you basically up and just left and you left your new ally behind. You left your droid behind. Somehow you found passage off of there. Then, of course, you weren't going to try to make sure that the guy you left behind and the droid you left behind can get off that planet to get to the Resistance. No, you just up and ran away. But that's not the actor's fault.
No, it's the studio.
Right. He is a fine actor. He is a fine actor.
It all boils back to Kathleen Kennedy, unfortunately, because she could have stepped in at any time and shut all of this down, and she didn't.
She didn't want to. It's like that meme. That's like that meme where the dog's sitting there and the place is on fire around him, goes, "This is fine."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't know what they were doing with even the stupid film. One film, Force Awakens, they didn't even know what they were doing. They figured, George Lucas changed things, but the thing is, there's a big difference. He changed some things mid astride, but it's because he had notes. It's like, well, wait a moment. Why don't I go this route with what I have planned?
Well, the problem is that the movies like Last Jedi, I don't really think it pushes anything. I don't really think the sequel trilogy, when you finally sit down and analyze it, that it's like, oh, you might enjoy this, find little things here, probably, but once again, it's just there. The Last Jedi is just there. It doesn't really do anything. And when you watch Rise of the Skywalker and stuff, even the whole thing about what happened with Kylo and he becomes Ben Solo. Well, to me, Ben Solo is just a bitch. I don't care what anybody says.
Mm-hmm.
He just turns into a bitch. But yeah,
according to Adam Driver, that wasn't even supposed to happen. He was supposed to get more and more evil.
Right. And sure, it's nice to see the Emperor come back, but just the way it came back, it's just like. And
I love you. I love you, Disney fans. I love you, little Disney fans out there, because you were going out there saying, "Oh, how ridiculous it is with the EU. They had the Emperor come back in a clone body. Come on, what shit is that?" Rise of Skywalker. Oh, the Emperor's back. He was gone. Isn't that great?
Well, then you're told by the same people who love this Disney sequels, which is whatever, fine, and they'll say, "Oh, well, you have to read this book." It's like, once again, why should I have to read this book to understand this movie or understand certain parts of this movie? I feel like
you shouldn't have to buy other media in order to understand what they're trying to get across in a movie or a TV show.
That's right.
Right. What they do is they bring the best they do is to bring aspects of that character a bit more. If it's done right, you see some character growth that's done in there. You see more adventures. But the thing is, you shouldn't have to go and read it to go, "Oh, now I understand. Now I remember. No, and that's what you're going to be getting with this so-called Ahsoka. The Ahsoka movie or whatever the hell movie it is that's going to be out there.
I think it's going to be Mandalorian and Grogu, or maybe that's canceled.
No. The one he wants to do basically his heir to the Empire. His version of heir to the Empire.
Yep.
He's been staying up. And it's like, well, you got to read this Ahsoka, you got to watch the Rebel series, you got to watch the Clone Wars to understand fully what's going on. And of course, needless to say, you got to read this because you got to figure out how we retconned this 3 freaking times.
I can't.
You're absolutely right, Pat. I want to be.
There's still a number of people that will tell me over and over again how good that Ahsoka show is. I'm like, why? Because Hayden Christensen showed up, and I like those parts. I do. But I was happy he got more screen time. I think Hayden Christensen is a good actor. I don't think he's a great actor.
And I'm looking forward to what he does with Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic 3, if that's to be believed.
If that's to be true, yes. But once again, like, you watch the Ahsoka show, and then you have watched Rebels before. Now, if you didn't watch Rebels, then you might, okay, that's one thing. But if you watch Rebels, and then you watch Ahsoka, you're like, why did Dave Filoni, as I now call him,
Dave
Filoni. That's right. Why did he retcon these things, and why are we now to the point in Star Wars where we're explaining the Force in just a ridiculous way? It makes no sense,
because you have people who don't understand Star Wars writing for Star Wars,
and they don't care.
The only person who truly understands Star Wars is the man who created it.
Right,
exactly. Thing is, though, the sad part is, I don't think that man's going to be around much longer because he's also up there in his 70s, approaching 80s. And now, by all outward appearances, he looks like he's still in good health, and I wish him nothing but a long and healthy life. But realistically, how much longer do we have with him? 10 years max?
No, maybe 10 or 20. We'll see.
We don't know. We don't know.
He could live into his hundreds, early hundreds.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And that's what I'm rooting for. I mean, we got to have the Force around, honestly. But, then it comes to the next important thing. To watch the prequel trilogy, you didn't have to watch the original trilogy.
No.
And vice versa.
No.
You don't have to watch the prequel trilogy to understand and enjoy the original trilogy.
Right.
So if you're going to have to start doing all this backtracking to understand what you're doing now, you failed.
Yep.
Failed.
It doesn't make sense. And even if people like Ahsoka and whatever, it's the same with the Book of Boobaloo. It's the same. They had a direction. I would love to pick people's brain, like John Favreau, for example. I'm like, you guys had a direction with Mandalorian season 1 and 2. Then you started going off the rails with this stuff. And I don't understand. Even Rodriguez, who directed some of the episodes, it's like, do you not understand Star Wars either? Do you want to understand? You seem like a guy who's always done research on other stuff. Why not do the research on Boba Fett? So it's just, all this stuff is just unfortunate.
Again,
real quick, guys, I just want to finish these last couple of paragraphs.
Yeah, no problem, man. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm so very, very sorry.
It just basically says how Daisy Ridley took a 6-month break before beginning filming of The Rise of Skywalker, which helped her recover. And then after the last film came out and everything was quiet, she was like, what the fuck? She was grieving. And the experience ultimately took years to process and was aided by the pandemic that started 2 years after Skywalker. Having to sit in lockdown was incredibly helpful in a way I hadn't anticipated. Ridley said, I realized there was a lot that I hadn't processed properly.
Well, yeah. I mean, they did the same thing to Patrick Stewart when he came over, because Patrick Stewart didn't have a full understanding of Star Trek. And they sat back and said, you realize you've taken this part. This is going to be with you forever.
Yeah.
If it's successful, it'll be with you forever. It'll never go away. And, and he didn't understand that at first. He didn't, he thought this show was only going to last maybe a season before it gets canceled. He never even unpacked his bags.
Right.
But the thing is boom, what happens? Well, he's one of the most favorite captains there are out there. Unfortunately, they did him dirty.
Yes.
But
he agreed to it, so he's partially responsible for what happened to his character.
Oh, yeah.
He agreed to it.
No, I think it's even more than that. It's what he demanded of it.
He didn't want to have the same Picard in the Picard show that we got in Next Generation.
No.
Yeah, and it aggravates me because I liked him a lot as in the Next Generation. So it was like watching that third season of Picard was okay. What the hell am I watching? And I know there's even longtime Star Trek fans of even the old series that enjoyed this. Well, good for them. But that season 3 of Picard, it didn't give me nightmares, at least.
Yeah. Well, the big thing is she was around enough of the originals, be it
Carrie Fisher, Harrison
Ford, Mark Hamill. But I was thinking specifically Carrie Fisher because I knew she kind of took her under her wing a little bit. So she had that there, and them expounding. If she didn't understand it, even after her little talk with Jar Jar, I mean, you're standing amongst legends. You've grown up around it. I mean, you can't sit back and say you never heard of Star Wars. Right. I'm sure she can't, unless of course she was in some remote area of England that still uses homing pigeons to deliver messages back and forth. So Yeah. You know what? Jar Jar is right about that. It is a quote-unquote religion. I just wish he would have listened to his own freaking words, you moron. Okay, back to you, Mike.
All right. We have one more article that we are going to read on both the YouTube and the Rumble sides before we go to Rumble.
There we go. I have to get ready. Boom.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, actually, keep on going. I'm going to do something while you're doing that, okay? I didn't realize how stupid I was.
This comes from Inverse. It says the most pivotal sci-fi show of all time was almost murdered by Star Trek. I disagree with that. I do.
Yeah.
Murdered by Star Trek.
I disagree. I disagree with that.
You know what I say? You know what? We have to play
bullshit.
Yeah. The first best hope for sci-fi serialization. No, they got that wrong. The last best hope.
Right.
Yes, right. The last best hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
See, it must have been written by a non.
Yes. Filthy
Centauri.
Oh, he's trying to cause problems.
It's much more elegant, much more refined.
Yeah, it has a stick up its ass, that's for sure.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Wow.
I think we're having a meeting afterwards, and I didn't do anything this time.
Well, these filthy Centauris,
it's okay. I disagree with the subheadline. It had a tough road to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
J. Michael Straczynski passed it around, and
yeah, it did have a rough road getting to where it was at, but it finally got there. It was a long road getting from here to there. Oh wait, sorry, wrong show.
You know how tempted I was to sing that Sunday.
Very.
Yeah.
In the beginning, Babylon 5 was almost murdered by Star Trek. Back in 1987, the same year, Star Trek The Next Generation brought space-based sci-fi back to mainstream TV. Writer J. Michael Straczynski took his pitch for a sci-fi novel for television to studio networks. Today, Straczynski is best known for co-writing the first Thor movie in 2011. Why didn't he have any of the Centauri in there? Why weren't they in there?
No.
Because
and co-creating
Thor is secretly a Narn, that's why.
Co-creating Sense8 with the Wachowskis. But in 1987, his big credits were writing Masters of the Universe and being a story editor on the real Ghostbusters. It was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Get it right, Inverse.
Right.
And let's not forget, he was also involved with the Twilight Zone, too.
Yes. His pitch for Babylon 5 was a unique and radical departure. In the late 80s and early 90s, serialized TV didn't really exist outside of soap operas, but on January 26th, 1994, the first episode of Babylon 5 debuted and insisted on a new kind of viewing habit. Fans had to catch nearly every episode to understand the story, which was set to the last 5 years. For the last 5 years, sorry. Today, this kind of sprawling sci-fi epic is much more common, from The Expanse to Foundation for All Mankind, and even the contemporary Star Trek and Star Wars series like Discovery and Andor. No, Deep Space Nine picked it up first. Deep Space Nine, the rival to Babylon 5. Let's face it.
Mm-hmm. It was.
If it wasn't for Babylon 5, we may not have gotten Deep Space Nine.
Or Deep Space Nine go the direction that he did.
Wait, so hold on a second. So Babylon 5 came out before Deep Space Nine?
J. Michael Straczynski pitched the idea for Babylon 5 to Paramount.
Right. What happened was he got the idea. They said 1987, but I was told that was like 1988 when he was in the shower. He came up with his idea for basically a novel for television. He pitched it out there. One of the places he pitched it to was, of course, Paramount. They said, "No, we already got a space show." Then Warner Brothers, wanting to do their primetime entertainment network, thought, well, maybe this would be the best. It might be a good way to go. Why don't we go with this show? Well, all of a sudden, when word got out that was going on, word came out that Star Trek was doing a space station show. So the same year that DS9 came out is when you had the pilot movie in the beginning. And, it wasn't the best. Even J. Michael Straczynski even admits it wasn't the best. It didn't get, but the funny thing is it had enough stuff in it to leave people intrigued for when the first episode, Midnight on the Firing Line, came out. And then, of course, all of a sudden it started getting a fan base. It was just, this is different. This isn't Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden they start seeing that, oh, wait a moment, there's this continuing arc going on with it. And let's face it, Deep Space Nine for the first 2 seasons, as I think we've all talked about, didn't really have a way of going. It was basically following the same path of the other Star Trek shows, just a week by week. We get done and everything goes back to reset zero, and then we have another week, and then it goes back to it until, of course, the season finale of season 2 when we get introduced to the Dominion, and then you can start seeing the parallels between the two, where Babylon 5, everything was already planned out. In some ways, and I don't mean to be mean, it's not to be mean, DS9 was playing catch-up.
Yeah, because let's face it, when Babylon 5 is introducing the Shadows, J. Michael Straczynski already knew that the Shadows were going to be a part of the series.
Right.
You're already getting hints in season 1 about something out there.
Right. I mean, you can sit there and not watch the first season of Babylon 5, except for probably a couple key episodes that they had, and not have to worry about it. But when you start getting to season 2, that's when the machine gets going. So I like to sit back and say, season 1 is The Hobbit. Hello, welcome to my world. This is who, what, where, when. This is the universe. Okay, now that I introduced you to this universe, season 2, that's the first book of Lord of the Rings.
But see, Baron, I have to disagree with you. You just called it the machine. It is not the great machine.
My apologies.
You should have called it the great machine.
Zathras. No one listens to Zathras. But and I'm not I'm not being cruel to DS9 because DS9 was a great show too. And that was so wonderful about this time. You had 2 great science fiction shows. One that was intentionally started out that way, and the other one kind of following suit. And okay, this is our take on things. In fact, you can see sometimes that there were little barbs back and forth between the 2 shows with some of the things that they said.
One Babylon 5 did make a little jab at Star Trek,
and vice versa. Because J. Michael Straczynski was always saying that there's really not good or evil, it's shades of gray. But then you had the episode that countered it with DS9 where Cisco was sitting back saying, yes, there is evil. There is good and evil. Which is the 2 different philosophies. And that's great. You got it right there in a nutshell. These are 2 different philosophies.
Mm-hmm. But it also lets you know that the writing staff of both teams, or at least in this case, J. Michael Straczynski being the one man who wrote the majority of all episodes for Babylon 5, they were paying attention to what the other was doing. How could you not?
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, JMS is a Star Trek fan. He actually wrote a Star Trek comic before he did Babylon 5 for DC Comics. I mean, he knows this universe. He brings on for at least 2 episodes of Babylon 5 and 2 episodes for Crusade later on, the guy they should have brought on to the Star Trek series, and that's Peter David.
Yeah.
Didn't he write a bunch of the Star Trek novels like Q Squared?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That is such a good book.
He is yeah. Oh, yeah. He also wrote Babylon 5, Babylon 5. Yeah, he's a top quality writer. This guy knows the Star Trek universe in and out. He knows it. I don't know what he thinks of the state of it right now. I hope he hasn't gone and drank the water, the Kool-Aid on that. But he knows that universe. But the thing is he wrote for Babylon 5. David Gerald wrote for Babylon 5. DC Fontana wrote for the Babylon 5. But you know who didn't write for Babylon 5? That's Chase. Chase didn't write for Babylon 5.
Good to see you, Jace.
How you doing, you crazy North
Hey,
Steve?
Jace.
And it says, but 30 years ago, the concept and format of Babylon 5 were a revolution that almost didn't happen. In 1987, Straczynski was working with producers Douglas Netter and John Copeland on a live-action kids sci-fi series called Captain Power. I think somewhere I still have my Captain Power VHS. I just don't have the jet that Captain Power flew. I'll have to look for it.
Yeah, that was 100% toy advertising because you're supposed to play with your toys with the adventure.
And it even says here, a glorified toy commercial for Mattel. Everyone wanted to do something better, and Straczynski pitched Casablanca in space. The idea was to do a serious sci-fi epic set on a pivotal space station at a crossroads between various alien governments, which we get in Babylon 5. This way, the show could be big and small at the same time, telling an epic story while being made on a reduced budget compared to its sci-fi rivals, which Babylon 5 was. In the 1990s, an average episode of B5 was completed for around $600,000. And as I've mentioned on your show, Baron, the budget difference between Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5 was tremendous, but that's because TNG afforded Deep Space Nine the budget that it received.
Yeah.
Because of the success of TNG.
Right, exactly. It had that magic word, Star Trek. How many movies? We've already had the 6 movies. We had the 2 television series. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Even that animated one. You're a proven entity.
And it says, whereas Star Trek The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine generally had a budget of $1.3 million per episode. Babylon 5 used a production plan created by Copeland, drawing on experience from Captain Power to pinch pennies without sacrificing ambition. The biggest cost Copeland cut, visual effects. Unlike almost every other sci-fi series at the time, Babylon 5 used CGI for all its spaceships and space stations and many of its aliens. While Star Trek shows were still building models, Babylon 5 saved a ton of money by digitally rendering its universe.
What happened? Now it costs so much money. But yeah, I mean, it was revolutionary what they were doing with Babylon 5, and you have to give them props for it. In fact, the first pilot, in the beginning, actually broke the record of having the most ships in one scene. They were breaking the record that Return of the Jedi had when they first start going for the Death Star and all the TIE fighters fly at it. And so when you had the Vorlon ships come in to attack Babylon 5, just look at the number of those ships and think this is on a regular TV show. And it was the most ships until I can't remember when. And when Straczynski was showing off some of the visual effects at conventions, they were showing the Vorlon ship going into Babylon 5. He says, just for your knowledge here, that ship that's going in there is about the size of a 727. That'll give you the scope of how big the station is.
Yeah. And it says, because Babylon 5 was pitched in 1987, the same year The Next Generation appeared, there has long been a belief that the next Trek spinoff, 1993's Deep Space Nine, was a ripoff. Before landing at Warner Brothers, Straczynski and his crew did pitch B5 to Paramount. By 1993, Deep Space Nine debuted its premiere episode, while that year also saw the pilot movie for Babylon 5, The Gathering. So by 1994, when Babylon 5 truly got underway with its first real episode, Midnight on the Firing Line, it was easy for sci-fi fans to believe B5 ripped off DS9, not the other way around.
You're right.
Did the Star Trek camp rip off Babylon 5? Maybe. But there's no smoking facer. Because B5 was pitched to Paramount, before being acquired by Warner Brothers. There is evidence that some studio suits encouraged Deep Space Nine producers Rick Berman and Michael Piller to borrow elements from Babylon 5 for Deep Space Nine, the DS9 pilot, without telling them where those ideas came from. Well, of course.
Right. Well, you have to give sorry. Go on.
I mean, that's how it works in business.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you where we got this idea, but we have this idea. We want you to work on it and see what you can do with it.
The thing is Berman, those guys said they were the ones that came up with the idea and such. But who knows? I think they said they even ran before Roddenberry died. They said, "Hey, wouldn't it be great if we did a show this way?" And he goes, "Yeah." But I don't know. There's a lot of mythology behind some of these stories. All I know is originally in Babylon 5, there was supposed to be a shapeshifter. And we saw a little bit of that with in the beginning when they were using the changeling net. But originally it was supposed to be a race that could change shape. Well, they kind of got funny when you had Odo show up on DS9, a shapeshifter alien. That was a missing mystery to everybody of what he is. One of the aspects for Deep Space Nine that I wish they would have done, but they shelved. Deep Space Nine was originally going to be a space station. They didn't know where it came from. They didn't know which race it was. It was an alien station, a mystery station, and part of it was the figuring out what the mystery of the station was, along with doing your weekly adventures. Of course, it became Tarak Nor. It's just interesting to see what were original things that they had for ideas between the two shows. But yeah, it's just a lot of similarities between the two shows. Enough so that JMS did have enough that if he wanted to go after Paramount, but he opted not to because it's like, no, it's not good for business. It's not good for anybody.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is hey, they both succeeded. The only thing that holds back Babylon 5 from being
was the prime.
Mike?
Oh,
did he blow up? Yeah, it was for Primetime Entertainment Network execs. One of the guys didn't like it. He was still involved with Warner Brothers. The stuff with Primetime Entertainment Network was treated like the little bastard stepchild of the whole thing. So that's why you don't see time tracks. That's why you don't see Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. They don't like there was some sort of animosity there, and now that one guy is gone, that's where we started seeing all this this Babylon 5 rising again.
There was a subspace anomaly, T-Gap Steve. I don't know if it was caused by the Dominion or possibly the Shadows.
It was me trying to take over the show. I almost put the flag up. I was too slow.
And the article... That's all right. The article says, here's why it's fishy. Both shows take place on pivotal space stations. Both feature commanders, not captains initially, who have a mysterious connection to an alien race. And both were focused on said space station, keeping the peace in that part of the galaxy. Back in 1992, Straczynski said, "Were Piller and Byrne aware of B5 excuse me, at any time? No, of that I'm also confident. The only question in my mind is, to what degree did the development people steer them?" Yeah.
Right. And let's not forget, both of them were on the line. Both of them were in basically the battle where the majority of people got slaughtered. That was the Battle of the Line in Babylon 5, and of course the Wolf battle with the Borg with Cisco. So again, there's even more similarities here.
It says ultimately the two shows became very different, but the specter of Star Trek loomed over B5. There is also evidence that Paramount and Warner Brothers were considering launching a joint network, which wouldn't have had room for two space station sci-fi shows. Oh, come on. Why not?
Yeah.
I think it would have been cool.
It was working already.
Yeah. Whoa. Why ruin the recipe if it's already working?
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have like 5 different cop shows on our network, 3 different lawyer shows on our network, but we can only have 1 science fiction show because that's all we have room for.
Oh, and don't forget, Baron, this was the 90s. How many medical shows did we have?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, St. Elsewhere's over, but that's where you started getting ER and
Chicago Hope.
Chicago Hope. Yep, thank you. I was trying to remember that one. I think my mom watched that one.
And it says, on top of all this, the very idea of Star Trek made selling Babylon 5 difficult before convincing Warner Brothers to do Babylon 5. Straczynski, Netter, and Copeland were repeatedly told that Star Trek was a unique unique phenomenon and didn't represent a greater hunger for space-based sci-fi. As Straczynski said in the 1998 Jane Killick nonfiction Babylon 5 book, Signs and Portents.
Oh yeah, I got that.
The general sense in Hollywood at the time is that there's only an audience for Star Trek, which is false.
Mm-hmm.
That if there truly were an audience for sci-fi, Star Trek would have bred more science fiction shows. But it did. It inspired other science fiction shows.
Right. I mean, Next Generation opened up the door for that syndicated market. I remember one of the big ones that came out right away after that was War of the Worlds. It lasted 2 seasons, but then again, they screwed up the formula that what they had, which really I think is what hurt that show. Plus, in our network, in our area, it was played like at midnight on Friday or something like that. I can't remember, but it was some god awful time, and that's one of the problems with syndicated shows like that. It's not that there was.
And you mentioned time tracks earlier,
right? Yep, on P10. You had Space Rangers. They tried to do Space Rangers on CBS, but it wasn't that good of a show. It's good for amusement, but you start seeing some familiar faces in that show, though.
And don't forget Earth 2. There's that sci-fi show Earth 2 on NBC.
Mm-hmm. Right. That went for about 3 seasons. Oh, and Sequest. Now, obviously, it's not a space-based show, but it's a science fiction show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Star Wars was starting to brew up again, an interest. So what? The people don't have an interest in science fiction. It was the same excuse they gave Gene Roddenberry when he tried to pitch Star Trek, and they say, "Oh no, we already got Lost in Space. That's all we need. There's not room for another science fiction show because of Lost in Space." That was their litmus test back then. My, have we grown? I mean, honest and really, I mean, Babylon 5. I mean, I wish now that they got better quality done out there with remastering and such, and it's out there. It's on there on Tubi. If you haven't watched it, please do so. And that first season is an introduction to the universe. There's some fine episodes. I think that first episode, Midnight in the Fireline, what grabbed me was the space battles. You'd never seen space battles like that before. It was they were trying to do something that would be realistic in space, not the typical Star Wars.
I understand that there's also a Babylon 5 movie. Where should that be watched in relation to the show?
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
There's more than one?
Yes.
I thought it was just one.
Well, you had the pilot movie. Yeah, you have the pilot movie, which was in the beginning. No, not in the beginning. I'm sorry. In the beginning. The Gathering. I keep on calling it in the beginning. It's The Gathering. The name of the pilot movie is The Gathering. When TNT got the rights to do Babylon 5, they authorized 4 movies, 2 one year, 2 another year. The first one was called In the Beginning, and that was recounting the story of the Earth-Minbari War. Pretty much focusing on Sheridan, but you had a little bit with Sinclair. And it's a story that's told from the perspective of Lando Malari. Then you had a second one called Third Space. And it was kind of a Cthulhu-ish horror type of movie where they find out that the Vorlons were trying to make a new hyperspace form of hyperspace, what they called third space. But there's something in there that you don't want to bring out. And that one took place somewhere. That movie was supposed to take place somewhere in the third season, after the Shadow War, but before everything else hit the fan. Then you had another one. I got a mental block on the name, but it had to do with the Soul Hunters, and it was played by Martin Sheen, who did the Soul Hunter. River of Souls, and that basically takes place, I would say, after the series, Babylon 5. So that's like, kind of after. And then the other movie was the Crusade movie. And that one obviously takes place about 5 years after Babylon 5, which is supposed to be the opening to the Crusade series. Then you had the other one that's supposed to take place 3 years after Babylon 5. That's called Legends of the Rangers. And then there was a straight-to-video Lost Tales, and that takes place after the series as well. And now we have the animated movie.
Okay, so that explains it, because I might have told you guys this before, but I did try watching Babylon 5 once months ago on Tubi.
Yeah.
I think this was just after I found out you guys were doing reviews of Babylon 5. I started watching the first episode that was available and was just lost. Like I legit felt like I was coming into the middle of the story, because everyone already knows everyone. There was no, oh, hi, I'm such and such character. Nice to meet you. I'm such and such character.
Well, in a sense, you had the same thing with Star Trek. I mean, you were brought in dramatis. What do they call it? Basically, it's already started. Everybody knows each other. Kirk knows Spock. Spock knows Kirk. They've already been going at it. They didn't have this.
I know, DJ. I will try again. Okay, I'll try again.
I mean, go ahead. Don't watch the first movie, The Gathering. Save that for later. Save that for later. Go start off with Midnight on the Firing Line, and that sets basic. Whether you know it or not, that sets up a lot of things that's going to happen in the Babylon 5 universe. There are payoffs down the road, even at the end of the season. There's payoffs, but it even goes further than that.
Right, just don't rush yourself. I mean, this show is a building process, and there's a lot of drama in this. Not that there isn't drama in Star Trek, but it's just things are slower. But you stay with it, Paul. I'm telling you right now.
Well, the best way to approach this
payoff.
The best way to approach this is you're not guzzling down light beer. You're sitting down with a fine scotch and savoring it.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a good analogy.
This is a show to savor. If you're looking for that whiz bang all the time, like a Star Wars series that we have now, or even what Star Trek was. No, this is world. You're watching a world being built in front of you.
Okay.
And this world's been planned. And yeah, there were some wrenches that came in there that they had to change, but still, the payoff worked.
Okay.
And even in some ways made it better.
Yep. And the article pretty much says there were other science fiction shows set between 1969 and 1994. Of course, they mentioned the original Battlestar Galactica and how it only lasted for one season.
Right.
And that Babylon 5 pretty much proved that there was an appetite for non-Star Trek shows. Well, of course, we knew that back in the 90s.
Well, the thing is Battlestar Galactica had a following. They canceled it. Canceled a show that was actually doing pretty good, but again, it was the most expensive show that was done at that time. Can they justify it? Plus, they also lost John Dykstra. But Battlestar Galactica was popular. That's why we still talk about it now. Buck Rogers was doing fine until they did the second season, and Gil Gerard fucked everything up. And yeah, it was his fault. It was his fault that Buck Rogers went the way it did for that second season.
Well, that's tragic.
Yeah. Basically, it was the Eagle Man. He wanted more to be more serious for one. He wanted to be the center of it all. Push Wilma back to basically wearing a stewardess outfit instead of being the mate of the colonel.
She's a badass, dude.
She is. Yes.
She is a badass. You don't mess with her.
Yeah. And the thing is these shows are still remembered.
Is it worth it to still go back and watch season 2? I think I've almost finished season 1.
Buck Rogers?
Yeah.
For one reason only, the character of Hawk. The character of Hawk is great.
Okay.
Tom Christopher, I think his name is, or he was a soap opera actor. So I think he still is, but he did a fantastic job in there.
Thinking about sci-fi, Baron, what did you think about when the Twilight Zone came back? Do you think sometimes these things need to come back? I mean, I guess it's good, but does it have? I haven't watched really the new Twilight Zone. I've watched some of the older episodes.
Well, which one? Which one? There was a couple along the way. You had it in the 80s and 90s, and you had that Abomination on, I think, Max or whatever it was.
No, was there? Okay.
Yeah, I
guess Jordan
Lawrence
Peele
Fishburne?
is. I guess Jordan
Peele. Yeah, Jordan Peele. That's what
he's hosting it now. I don't know if it's the same kind of flair as it was.
No, but he turned into a race baiting thing.
Oh no!
Like he's
came from Mad TV, anyways. Whatever.
Orange Man Bad and all this stuff
in Twilight Zone.
And real quick, the article wraps up saying, if you want to get a sense of what Babylon 5 is about, watch Midnight on the Firing Line. And
I'm probably going to watch it after the show's over.
How it sets up everything, and you can look beyond the show, beyond its aesthetics. It's sets, its special effects, as Phil likes to harp on when we're doing the Saturday show.
Yes, many times.
Yeah, but at the time they were groundbreaking.
Yeah, they were. And
by the way, Paul,
I highly recommend watching Babylon 5.
Yes,
I really do.
The character development with the characters and things that they go through. There's certain things that not so much, but overall, it's pretty amazing.
Hey, whatever the one thing I gotta sit back and say,
just have to stick with it.
Yeah, when you meet these characters, don't judge them by your first experience with them.
Exactly.
Okay. I will say though, I do think the way that the one character says Jakar is really funny.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. See, he likes the way the Centauri says Jakar.
Say it right. No, do the right one though. Do what
Mr. Garibaldi.
There we go.
Garibaldi. Yeah,
that's how he prepared himself for being Londo. You walk in and go, Mr. Garibaldi, and he was all.
It's just great because Londo and Jakar and stuff, they're just such different characters. Yeah. But the energy that Londo has is just crazy. And even, seeing the Stephen Furr is his name, right?
Which one?
The one who his Veer.
Oh, yeah, Stephen Furr.
You forgot Veer. How could you forget Veer? Without Veer, how am I supposed to know when my wives are coming?
There, you moon-faced assassin of joy. Yeah,
and hopefully you'll get to learn about Zathras, because it's not Zathras.
Not Zathras, but Zathras.
Okay,
Zathras, but not Zathras.
He's just a great character, and you'll find out why, man. He's
the great.
I will say, I can't wait to sing along to Cash's favorite telepath song.
Yeah.
That song
I did that for you, Cash.
That is right. That is the final episode. Final season. That cult thing is ridiculous, but whatever.
No regrets.
That was kind of a weak one. Yeah,
it was.
No regrets. It's more like it. But no, I mean, it's kind of funny that I didn't look at this article even while you were reading it. I wasn't looking at it, and my recommendation is boom. Like I told Paul, watch Midnight in Fireline. Save the pilot movie for later. This is what gets you in there. No holds barred, and I beg anybody, go ahead, watch it. Start from that first episode. Be amazed. Yeah, the special effects, whatever, but blah blah blah. But be amazed that they try to do as accurate in a Hollywood production a space battle in space. Because J. Michael Straczynski was working quite a bit with JPL and people at NASA to try to get things right. In fact, JPL was heavily involved with the Crusade series. They were in the credits.
As they should have been. If they were the science consultants, they should be in there.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, all across the board, obviously it's Hollywood science fiction and such like that, but Krasinski was trying to make a world that was believable. And when you talk about mythologies, when you talk about folklores, all that, right? All that. Krasinski did it right.
Yep. And you're going to learn about different religions, because I always feel like even different species or different aliens would have religion. And so if you're interested in that, Paul, you're going to learn more about that. And that's very interesting to me. The character development, the battles, the action in this show. Yes, there's a lot of drama, but it's important. Yeah. I would definitely say it's important.
It's everything. It's a space opera. This is opening up the Lensman series by E.E. Doc Smith, which was one of the inspirations for the show.
Yep.
No, it is a space opera. So you're going to be getting that.
Just like Mass Effect. Mass Effect is considered a space opera too. So.
And even Star Wars.
That's true.
Even Star Wars. This series needs to be discovered by a new generation and appreciated by that. And no, this is what we talk about. This is a proper way to make a legend. And the thing is, Cash is talking about how you get to see other religions, including alien religions, and it's done respectfully.
Yes.
J. Michael Straczynski is an atheist. He's an atheist doing this.
Means he cared enough to do a lot of research on this, and he understands that things are important, even though he's an atheist.
Right. I don't believe it, but somebody else does.
Right.
He did an episode of a show that a nunnery, all these nuns watched Babylon 5 every week, and there was an episode that was heavily Roman Catholic and involved about basically forgiveness, right? Yes. And they wrote a letter to him just praising him for the episode, so he sent them almost like a master tape to him. Probably the best quality videotape you could have gotten to watch this show at home.
And we got a question for you, Baron.
What's the question?
Hey, Baron, have you checked out the B5 ship?
Oh, sorry. On Sacred Cow? No, I have never heard of that before, to be honest. I've looked at a lot of rundowns on internet sites, but then again, that was like when the show was running. I mean, I tell you, we were all over it, people putting stuff on about the ship, but Sacred Cow is the name. I'll have to look it up and see what they have to say.
Okay. And folks, we are getting ready to shift over exclusively to Rumble. If you'd like to continue with us over there, you're more than welcome to do so. We will be taking a full look at the new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire trailer when we get over there.
Oh.
And of course, just to remind you, this is the last episode of Pop Talk. Next week, we'll be starting as the Star Wars guys. So just. What?
Extinction to all traitors! Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
How many of you believe that having a hobby is a healthy and perfect way to express your individuality? Show of hands? Now. Well, you're wrong.
If you've got an issue, here's a tissue.
About to play that one.
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand it? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Wait, where'd Baron go?
How about new?
The hell you say?
It's a clip war.
Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? What happens?
It stinks.
My calculations are correct.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
How about no?
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
No!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
I want you to know it's over.
Well. Bye.
Lighten up, Francis.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Then you're crazy.
I know you are, but what am I?
You're a nerd.
I know you are, but what am I?
You're an idiot.
I know you are, but what am I?
I know you.
That's right. I said, I ain't giving you no $3.50, you goddamn Loch Ness monster. Get your own goddamn money.
I gave him a...
I thought y'all were about to break.
One shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly?
Very interesting, but stupid.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is.
I see nothing.
Well, I'm back. Cool.
Yes. Wow. I brought you back in the middle of that video B war. That was fun.
I really was.
The last thing I want to be remembered as is an annoying blabbermouth. You know, nothing grinds my gears worse than some chowderhead who doesn't know when to keep his big trap shut.
You know what really grinds my gears?
I don't know who any of those people are.
Y'all gonna break StreamYard if you're not careful.
This has been a test of the emergency hypnotoad system. Had this been an actual hypnosis, you would go limp and watch whatever crap comes on next.
Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with a starship?
That was my clip.
Just cut. He said, today is a good day to die.
I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain.
Have we used them all up yet?
My coronation! Coronation, Starscream? This is bad comedy.
Megatron? Is that you?
Here's a hint. Will anyone else attempt to fill his shoes?
You tell him I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
3 hours later.
Just about, yeah.
I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil, huh?
All right, youngster, out you go.
Don't come back! Ever!
You might think everything is okay, but Disney, he's gonna get you. Kathleen Kennedy's gonna get you. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you.
We have the best clips on YouTube.
Oh,
I need that.
There's gonna be more to come.
But we haven't played one yet.
Uh-oh. Well, I thought that was the opening for the Rumble. Okay.
But speaking of Rumble, we are going over to Rumble after having our little fun there. I mean, that's what we do here. We have fun.
We're sorry.
But I do want to thank Jason Fox of 540 Studio for coming over. And also the Padawannabe. Thank you very much.
Huh?
Pops was here. Good to see you, Pops.
Yeah.
Lord Crit of Everest Productions. Yes.
Who?
Yeah.
And of course, Virginia was here.
Yeah.
We know who she is.
Real quick note about Virginia. She is currently working on moving into a new house.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Here, I thought you were going to tell us that she's Virginia from Virginia. We already knew that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. The woman who scared Cash away, according to Phil.
Yeah, Phil's a nut.
All women scare us cash away, but that's beside the point. We can
That's
talk
not
about
true.
that later.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
That's some fake news. Yep.
Spicy Peach was here. Good to see you, Spicy Peach.
Ooh,
Do you
Mamma
secretly
mia.
work for CNN, Baron? Be honest with us.
MSNBC. Get it right.
DJ Ronnie G was here on the YouTube side.
Mm-hmm.
Nerd!
And our guest host, Paul of Fandomology. Low Spec Linux Laptops. One of our favorite penguins besides Punk Waddle. 2 penguins enter. 1 penguin leaves. 2 penguins enter. 1 penguin leaves. Why am I the only one that's chanting that?
I chanted it earlier.
I'm chanting it now.
One penguin leaves.
Look at
Two penguins
look at
enter.
You know,
look in
remember
the
when we
fine print of your
said-
contract. Look in the fine print of your contract, Cash.
Check it in blood, yes. There is one clip we actually didn't play, was the penguin one. That's
Well, let's not play it because I've already got enough copyright claims in the last few days, and that one actually does get one.
It does?
No. It does?
The music in it.
Oh,
The music is from
Oh.
YouTube. I took YouTube music from the studio.
Oh, it's
Where-
getting a copyright claim for some reason.
Come on.
I specifically made sure I took it off
No,
of
wait.
YouTube. Oh, geez. Come on.
YouTube.
And we also had the lovely Janet from Another Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Bill McCracken, he's not a therapist by any stretch of the imagination.
He's the king of bots.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Tripping to Work, it was good to see you, Tripping to Work. And of course, Big Daddy T-Gap. You know, he's the one man who rides Beverly Hills 414. He doesn't even tell us what's going to happen. We have to find it out for ourselves as the show goes on.
How the hell did that start up?
I don't know who any of those people are.
He said something about Beverly Hills or something, and then
I think, we're busting Mike's chops from being from California.
something like that. Yeah.
Land of fruits and nuts, California.
Oh, ha, 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 ha. Very, very, very funny. Very, very funny.
You know, Phil,
McCracken.
you were part of Tuesday Night Trek too, and you're not here.
Yeah. Where are you?
Oh, no. Don't go off free to send out an invite to him, Paul.
No, we don't want
Oh,
to.
I'm not.
No, we're not.
That's not at all what I was gonna do. I was trying to shame Phil.
But I want to say thank you to all of you over on YouTube. The party isn't finished quite yet. Because, as I said, we are going to go over to Rumble now, and we are going to watch the Ghostbuster trailer, and I invite you all to join us over on the Rumble
Hey,
side.
Right.
We can play that clip over there. Yeah.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your support over on YouTube. No, come on. Come on over. Come on.
Yeah.
Follow us over to
Come
Rumble.
with
Come on.
me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
I don't know if I'd go that far, Paul.
No, that's,
It's okay, I did it for you.
I don't know. I can't. I don't
Okay, Cash Fudd. You sound like Elmer Fudd there, man.
I did.
But come on over to Rumble and enjoy the fresh air of freedom.
And I do understand if you have other things you need to do. I understand that. So I again want to say thank you very much. We appreciate the support that you all give us. No matter if you're watching on Fandomology, if you're watching on Baron Orman Tagge's Phantom Legacy or the Phantom Hooligans. We appreciate it. And everybody's links are in the description below on the YouTube side as well as on the Rumble side. But Rumblers, ain't in tight because we are going to take a look at that Frozen Empire trailer.
Rumble.
So we will be over there exclusively here in a few seconds. But remember this, YouTubers. I'm not just a baseball guy. I'm an all-around guy. And also, don't ever give up on me in a game because just when you do, you might miss something. Now, come on. Follow us over to Rumble.
Let's do it.